Right. Oh, I forgot my microphone. That would be useful, right? I mean, it's probably working anyway, but probably makes more sense if it's in front of me. Doll. Do you know, I was setting this up, thinking, I'm sure I've forgotten something. I'm sure I've forgotten something. I had forgotten something. There we go. Right. Levels look good? Yeah, levels look good, okay. I think they look okay. That'll do. Right, so yeah, what I want to do, I'm going to go out for a walk in a wee bit, but I just want to do a little bit more tinkering with PISpy, which is the little thing for looking up stuff in the Python package index. So helps if I spell things right, doesn't it? So yeah, it's a straightforward app, all that kind of stuff. I've been tinkering with it a little bit the last couple of days. In the last session, I made quite a few changes to how that data shows up in terms of how the packages, how the metadata for the package is emitted and all that kind of thing. There were one or two typing issues, as in, type annotations, that I wanted to clean up, and there was also the package URL data widget was still doing things in the old way. The whole point of doing this was to start addressing some issues, or addressing a particular issue, I should say. If I pull this over here, this issue here, the idea being improving the metadata, so yeah, filter out these fields that have no information, and also handle the fact that some stuff is kind of duplicated or potentially duplicated, in that there are URLs that you can have in the main part of the metadata, but you could also, if you wish, have the documentation, say, in the actual... There's kind of a field which then is a dictionary of descriptions and values, which is, here's a bunch of URLs that are associated with this particular project, and they're not hard coded, as in, you could have, you can see here with this particular package, there's a URL for funding, there's a URL for Gitter, all that kind of stuff. And it wasn't, well, it was handling those, you can see it's handling them, but some of the stuff like the documentation is doubled up because there was no documentation URL in the main part, but there is documentation actually in this substructure of URLs. And so the entirely correct suggestion was don't show stuff that doesn't exist. Get rid of the null values, which made a lot of sense. So I am basically at a point where that's done. I did do a little bit of tinkering on this morning, but didn't stream it just because, hadn't brushed my hair, shall we say. I was just like mucking about with my sort of second coffee of the day, but it was just chilling early in the morning kind of thing. Really didn't fancy streaming at that point. I've changed the way that things work as well, because in the previous session, I was basically just iterating over a big collection of these values here. What I've done is because I wanted to use the same sort of approach in this package URL data class, I've created this widgets for helper function. So here I yield from it in the compose, and it just like this function creates all the appropriate widgets that will go into that widget. And down here, I just, mount them all, everything that comes out of there. So I basically move that loop up into, where is it? Basically this thing here, which is, fairly standard fare, and all it does is it yields from a maybe show. So before I had this method which was similar to maybe show, which is, it yields up widgets to display a value if there's value. If there isn't, it doesn't yield anything up. But because there was different types of potentially different types of data, which would use different types of widgets to show the value, there was a couple of typing errors and it wasn't that tidy, whatever. So I actually got to thinking, do you know what I should do? Is I should use single dispatch. It's one of those things that it's definitely a thing that I've used back in the day it's an approach I've used with I dabbled with Dylan a long time ago. It's got that kind of thing. It's a thing that I've definitely used in Common Lisp. Python has some sort of support for it. So the idea being that the function that gets called depends on the type of the value. So here now, the maybe show function just yields up a title and a widget. That's it. It makes no decision whatsoever. And then it's here, there's a version of maybe show, which if the value is none, then it just doesn't yield anything. I do the yield from empty generator thing just to satisfy the typing and the like. And then here, it's like if the value is a string. If there's actually a value, yield it up. And it does mean if I wanted to add other types, say Boolean or something like that, it would actually be straightforward to add. So most of the things I wanted to do I've already done, kind of thing, but I was just going to, this won't be a very long session by any stretch. I want to go out for a walk, but it's a bit like yesterday, I think it was. It's raining at the moment, so I'm going to leave it like half an hour before going out. So I thought, well, I'll work on this code, and if I'm working on the code, I may as well stream it as well, because I've brushed my hair. So, one thing I noticed is with the value, there's this horrible kind of thing going on where, I pass the constructor. I know we shouldn't really call it constructor, but pass the constructor arguments for the label on using an star args and the star keyword args and all that kind of stuff, which is kind of gross, really. It's not a great way of doing things. But also, because I've now set this up so it filters out non-values, this was all about showing none and styling none in a way that look tidy or whatever. But I don't need to worry about that anymore. In fact, I almost don't need this value widget anymore. It can just be a label. But I feel that it's nicer to subclass this and then style it how I want here. So I'm going to get rid of that because I don't need that. But the thing is I don't even need this anymore. So we'll get rid of that. And that means I don't need that style anymore either. So it just falls to value is that. At this point, you could essentially say that value is a thin shim over the label, and it's just there for styling purposes. It just gives me a different kind of class. What would you call it? It's kind of a class, but it's not class as in a CSS class. You know what I mean? It just gives me a name, essentially, to style. So hopefully all still works, and all those things are still styled nicely, that kind of stuff. So we'll go with that. Oh, I can't type. Come on, come on. Been a longish day today. I was up fairly early, been doing some coding, been doing some admin stuff, went out for a 5k run this morning as well. had an interview this afternoon, so it's been sort of full on. Right, I think also I can simplify this URL now, because I should never be showing a URL if there isn't one. I'm also starting to wonder about the styling of this as well, because I'm putting it in the angle brackets, which is kind of common. Oh, I'm doing that because I'm inheriting from Markdown. That's where that comes from. Yeah. Going to do something different here. Going to do, I'll come back to that for a second. Is that, yeah, no, let's do this. So this actually ties in with the thing where I want to make the links actually properly clickable and they do stuff. So I think actually what I want to do at this point, because that what I'm doing here addresses that, the external links sort of addresses that. So I got this pull request going, which is the updated data loader, which has all the changes that I've been making, which has simplified and improved quite a few things. I think what I'm going to do is merge that into main. I think I'm going to call that good. And just notice what I don't have is change log. I should make one, shouldn't I? Nope, not there. Let's steal the main format from somewhere else. All about the cut and paste. All about the cut and paste. I should probably backfill this as well. You can tell this was one of those things that was a bit of a quick hack, because I never really did even do actual. Oh, I did do releases. Did actually do releases. Oh, didn't actually. No, I did one release. Well, we'll go with that. When was that? 17th of Feb. Okay. Here be dragons in the early ones. Let's work in progress. And I think what I will do is, hang on. I will actually link it to that. Okay. The history before 040 will be forever unknown. Okay, right. In that case, I think that's good to go. we're going to, yeah, ready for review. Should get someone to actually review this. Let me have a look. Yeah, looks fantastic. Totally trust the dude who wrote this code. I'm going to OK that. Right, there we go. We are good. Right, just forgive me for a second because I just had a message coming in and that is something I need to check. It was really important. There's someone's cat photo. Cat photos are always important. Right. Okay, so we're going to make URLs go somewhere. Seems like a plan, right? So I don't want these to be markdown anymore. It can probably just be a label. And we don't need that nonsense anymore, and we're going to get rid of that, and we're going to get rid of that. I'm trying to remember. Yeah, it's essentially going to be that sort of pattern, isn't it? I think it's going to be type. That kind of thing looks good. So we're just going to actually show it first, see whether it actually works. Let's see if I screwed up. Need a wee bit more space underneath it. Oh, I can see why, because I put margin 0, probably because there was a margin on markdowns. Hey, look at that. So that's going to be good. Cool, right. Good old notify, the print debug of textual. Right, don't need that there. Right, I want cat type. Do that. Okay. That should do the job. Hey, and that worked. You can't see it because it's gone into my default browser, and I'm not showing my default browser because it shows what extensions I use and all that kind of stuff, and that's not the sort of information you should be broadcasting on the internet. But yes, it's URLs are clickable. Awesome. But mine just needs a padding bottom, actually. not margin. Oh, I just noticed the styling though. Probably a bit too subtle to come through, but there's kind of a background colour just stops there, whereas everything else goes to the end. Perfect, 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 perfect. And that has opened, and you can see there it's actually focused my web browser, although yeah, you can't see my main web browser. You can see that the focus has gone away from the focus border, I should say. If I click back on here, then it comes back. So we know that opened, which is good. This is good. Right, I need to check another cat photo. I'll be back in a second. Right, there we go. It's if a friend sends you pictures of their cat doing cat stuff, yeah, you have to reply. That's the law. Okay. Don't need that anymore. I'll come back to that. Probably didn't need that earlier. No, I haven't done. No, what I haven't done is update changelog. Is that a full stop or not? Was that a comma? No, that is a full stop. I'm actually having a bit of problem today with my eyes. I think maybe I slept funny on one of my eyes or something like that, but I do have an astigmatism in both my eyes, I think. And some days, even with my glasses on, these are my screen distance glasses, even with my glasses on, sometimes I can get a little bit of double vision. And it goes away eventually, but it's like, I don't know, my eyeball is squashed a bit further or something like that. Should probably get to the optician again. Right. I can type. I can totally type. What is that issue? Number 7. Don't know what I thought I was looking at then. There we go. Stage that. I think that's it. I think that is it. Yeah. Oh goodness gracious, I can type. There's definitely still a bunch of styling things I want to do. I've been thinking this one through a bit more, and I think I am definitely going to go with um, the main info. I'll probably put a tabbed content under here, and then have a main info tab, and then maybe a tab for the actual, downloadable files, and then the information for them. I kind of feel like that makes sense. I feel like that would be a reasonable way of doing things, and I am tempted to do them as collapsibles. Maybe I should just make them a collapsible anyway. Might make sense just to keep it all in one place. But the other thing I was thinking was the main info, because like the description is part of the main info, the classifiers are part of the main info. This whole honking great big collection of URLs, they're all part of the info as well. I was wondering about maybe putting some of those in their own tabs, like the main description. But the problem is some packages, the main description is going to be, this is my cool package. That's it. That's all it says. And then there's going to be some packages which, like this one here, has a very comprehensive, very well laid out, very well thought out README that's a markdown document, that has actually proper marked up code in it and all that kind of stuff. So it's way more readable and way more, way richer than just 4 lines of text. So there's this thing of, would I want to? I suppose I could do some kind of heuristic that decides whether there is a description tab. If the description's more than n lines, chuck it in its own tab, something like that. Don't know. Can't make my mind up. But that's a thought. Try again. That is a thought for another day. I think that's more or less good. So let's pull this in. What was the issue? 7. I don't think that needs any greater fanfare than that, actually. Okay, good. No outstanding issues. That's always good to see, isn't it? So like I say, there's definitely some cosmetics I want to improve. A lot of what you see here is not tidy. It could be tidier. I would much prefer for it to be tidier. I can also see useful little things like copy buttons for these digests, for the hashes, that kind of thing. That would be a handy thing, because it could be that you've downloaded or you've acquired some package or whatever, and you want to quickly check its validity. So you might run this up. There's better ways of doing it, but you might run it up, and you just want to grab the hash and double check it. Just noticed Probably could do a wee bit of space there, although everything else is up against the top. It probably just looks a little bit ugly because textual readme starts out with an image like that. Yeah, you see, in my readme, I've actually got a header rather than launching straight into something else. So that actually looks a lot tidier. So that makes sense. Okay, right, there's a couple more things I wanted to just wanted to tinker with a couple of things in the in the CSS, just because I noticed, oh, I forgot to remove that. Let's remove that. I've just done a thing that I hate doing. I hate actually throwing in a unrelated change into what's, into a branch that's going to become a PR. It's a little bit of a bugbear of mine, but at the same time I recognise that sometimes it's a pragmatic approach, shall we say. So the thing I wanted to change is I've got these width 100%, and this, as I said before, betrays how old this code base is. I don't think even I was quite up on when you'd use 100% and when you'd use 1FR, for example, that kind of thing. I always much prefer 1FR. It still looks the same, still looks tidy, but I feel it conveys the meaning a lot better. Okay. There's anything in there. I think it's actually got very, very minimal. Yeah, it's very minimal CSS. That's about it. I think I could probably actually do a new release. And then any changes I make will be in subsequent versions. Seems fair. That seems fair. Let's do it. That rounds things off quite nicely, actually. Let's just pull that in. Okay. Technically an enhancement, right? We'll ignore the fact that I've just snuck in that other change without mentioning it. Cool. Right, I think we're good to go. In which case, this becomes 050. And it's released. What's the date today? 12. Good to me. And I'm doing a thing here that I only really do on fairly minor repositories, which is if I'm doing a release, I'm just bumping the version number. You know, I've made a whole bunch of other changes. I've done branches and little PRs and things like that, and it comes to actually releasing it. The change to actually bump the version number and kind of burn the change log, as it were, is so minor. I tend to actually push just straight to main. It doesn't really matter. It's just me and it's my dinky little repo. So that's why I did that. Right, okay, so let's do a... Oop. Hey! Right. Let's publish it. Looking good, looking good, looking good. Let's grab that. You know what I do need to do is update the image, because it doesn't. It looks a bit better than that now, but I won't do that yet because, as I say, I want to do some tweaks to how it looks, and I'll sort the image. Yeah, I'll update the README and update the image and all that kind of stuff afterwards. So what I'm actually tempted to do now is, this isn't going to quite work out how I want to. I'm going to have to make an exception here. So what I'm about to do is make it available via Homebrew, and I have these nice tidy makefile targets and stuff like that. Yeah, so for example, ng web, and then everything else is just, it expands that in the rule and all that kind of stuff. I could probably get away with actually even reducing a bit more of the duplication of effort. But, oh, hang on. Yeah, so what I was going to say was I sort of want to, from a homebrew point of view, want to change the name a bit. I think this will work. Borrow that one. I wanted to borrow that. So you're going to have to install that. Look that up. Right, this is what I want to do. I think this should work. Looks good to me. Yep, this seems to have done the job. That's the right home page as well, isn't it? Yeah, that is the right home page. Is that the right home page? Why am I doubting myself? I know it's the right home page. Yeah, I'm doubting myself. Of course it's the right home page. Why would I ever doubt myself? I do like to include it in the README as well. Cool. Hey, okay. Oh. I don't even have it installed with PipX, so that's good. There's another candidate for this, is my AST viewer. It needs a bit of love as well, and making that available through Homebrew would be a good idea. Actually, let's just make sure there isn't a clash of anything. Seems unlikely. Oh, there's a thing called PISpy. Oh, we should have a look at that. Sampling profile of Python programs. Sounds cool. No available formula with the name Dave P Homebrew PI. Yes, there is. We've just ascertained that. Maybe having this mix-up of names. Because it changes the name of the... Oh, I think I had to do this with one of Textual's. So I conducted this exercise for Textual. Well, not Textual, but for Textualize. Sure, I did a little tweak. What was it for? It was for C. That's what it was. There we go. I performed the one extra step to change the actual name. So the problem is where is it? That name there. That's coming from the Python package. The Python package is named PISpy client because although PISpy was available, as in, like, it's not the name of the package in the Python package index. When I tried to use it, it went, you've got to be having a laugh. We're not letting you use that. Go away. But I'd already written all the code and all that kind of stuff and named it by then, which was like slightly annoying. I wish when you did a search or there was some way of actually going, are you even ever going to let me use this package name? So I just renamed it to PISpy client, and then the command is still PISpy. So it takes the formula name in the file from the Python package, the way this works, from the Python package. So I just need to tweak that. So it's literally going to be like that. Well, that should do the job. Oh. Do you know, I actually, in my head, typed brew and make came off my fingers. I've got no idea why that was. No, I want you to update. Did I push? Oh, I didn't actually run make. Dumb. I made the change to the make file, but I didn't actually make the change to the formula. Oh, wait. What? Oh. Try that again. I think I ran something different. I did run something. I don't know what I ran. I ran something different. That's it. Looking better. It's working. For a tiny tool, it actually has quite a lot of dependencies. The HTTPX thing probably, yeah, won't help, obviously. Right, there we go. So, hey! There we go, installed from Homebrew, all standalone, accessible to someone who doesn't even know Python, but, well, you know, hopefully knows enough to use Homebrew on the command line and things like that. I feel that's a job well done. How long did that take me? It's about 50 minutes tinkering. And that was, yeah, just tidying up those last little bits and stuff like that. What I should do, I forgot what I should do, is make a new release. Oh, I do have a release history. Why did I think I didn't? Oh, I can backfill the change log. I'll do that in a moment. Where did I look earlier? I must have looked somewhere different. Excuse me. No. Weird. Okay. Right, let's just see if I can. So 030 was 7 for Jan. Zero 20 was December the 1st. And 010 was 30th of November. Cool. Right, that'll do that. Kind of want to just go to just going to borrow the actually don't need that. There we go. Package can be installed using PIPx and can also be installed via home. That looks good to me. Nice. So there's, as I say, there's still some things I want to do with it, but hang on, what's going on here? What branch was I on? I was on main. I just not pushed it. Hadn't pushed it. Could have sworn I had. What? What's going on here? Oh. Bloody GitHub. There we go. Wasn't looking at main. Yeah, that makes more sense now. I'd obviously, I'm blaming GitHub. It's probably problem exists between keyboard and, well, not chair, because standing desk. Same idea though. Okay, well, I think that's me good. I think that's enough tweaking and changing with that today. As I keep saying, I will come back to this and yeah, I will come back to this and just tidy up the way this looks. It could be nicer. It could look nicer. So I just need to ponder exactly how I want it to look, and yeah, just make some of those changes. But yeah, at least things like, the URLs actually work now and all that kind of stuff, which is cool. So yeah, click on those and it'll go somewhere. That's a lot nicer. Okay, well, I do think that's me good. I probably will do some more tinkering over the weekend, so I may do this. There's a couple of things, a couple of changes I want to make to Tinboard, my pinboard client that I use very heavily. So yeah, I may turn my attention to that and do a few changes to that tomorrow or Sunday. I'm not entirely sure. I'm happy with the way that is at the moment, and yeah, I'm gonna go for a walk now, and probably actually will spend some time on the walk thinking about how I want to do the user interface for this. What the nature of the changes are that I want to make, and then I'll come back to this and sort that out as well. Anyway, for anyone who is out there watching, thank you for looking over my shoulder as I type away and the like, and waffle on. And for anyone who catches the recording at some point in the future, thanks for watching as well, and goodbye.